So yeah, we'll give it a few minutes for people to start trickling in, so that way they can be like, "What are they talking about? What's going on?"
Just kind of sitting there. One guy's in front of a green screen, one's in a messy office with stuff all over his floor.
The crazy thing is I actually miss my old setup with the wall scrolls
Mm-hmm.
because I had like 2 or 3 wall scrolls in the back. But you could like, I had a bed sheet. I had a bed sheet up here, and that covered the wood paneling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the wall scrolls on each side,
Oh
so it
wow.
didn't look bad. But when playing on the actual games, I felt like it got in the way over the green screen.
Yeah, I could see that.
But when I'm playing or when I'm doing Eric's podcast, what's up, JB? When I'm doing Eric's podcast, I still use the green screen. But if I can get this to look okay, like if I think I just grabbed this obviously for this, but if I can get like two wall scrolls to look like this, I may just do it like this for podcasts from here on out.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad unless they, actually implement something
Unless
for.
I'm gonna do some research,
Yeah.
and maybe chat can actually help me when more people come in. How you doing tonight, JB? We're getting ready to get started, guys. For those that are coming in, we are going to be talking. This is called Coin Up Conversation, which hopefully will be a either weekly or bi-weekly series with my partner in crime here, Neo. So we're going to make it look more professional as time goes on.
Yeah.
When's Bug Snacks? Omega says when's Bug Snacks?
We got to read the end user license agreement on that one. I don't know. I ain't trying to get.
that's facts.
I ain't trying to get hit with a
facts.
DMCA or get banned or anything. I mean, I ain't making any money off of this, but
yeah, so definitely don't want to. Omega said you ain't lying. So the way that I plan on doing this, guys, if you're just joining in, is when we start up this conversation, I have my alerts off, so I'll try to think followers, subs, donations, anything like that in between topics. And if there's any questions you guys want to ask, if it's on topic, I'll try to stick it into what we're talking about. If it's not, we'll try to do it in between topics. But for the most part, I will be looking at the chat. But unless I see something that's like directly relative to what we're talking about, we're probably just going to keep the conversation between us. I don't know how John wants to do it for his chat.
I mean, since I probably don't have that many viewers, I think you said it all, so it works for me. So same.
Chat
guys.
says you're low.
Am I really?
I don't know. That's what they say.
All right.
Chat says you're low. I did not explain my green screen, Nia. Well, maybe I did. I might have. I might have explained it. If you're just getting here, chat, I'm professional. I don't know how to get Discord to work with Streamlabs. So we got my we got my wall scroll back here as some decor. If that continues the trend, chat, if this becomes a weekly or bi-weekly thing, I'm gonna have an entire setup where I actually have a lot of memorabilia that I could post back here and you guys can see, and it's actually gonna be cool. So yeah, see if you can turn your mic up, sir, and then we'll go from there. You got an XLR?
Ooh, me? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just going basically through maybe it's because of the RTX.
It could be because of the RTX filter. Mine does the same.
So
ever since I got this mic though, I've been able to adjust it a lot. For those wondering what it is, it is Elgato Wave 1.
How's that? Is that any better?
Can you guys hear him better now? Here, look, let me I'll turn my music down lower too, just in case. Oh wait, can I turn you up in Discord?
Yeah, actually you could. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm low in Discord.
Where do I go for that?
You should be able to like click on my name or.
Oh no, you're all the way up. Oops. You're all the way up. You're all the way up. Just put the mic in your mouth while you chat.
No, I don't do that.
Sound like Corpse. You know who Corpse is?
No. I have absolutely no idea whatsoever.
He's a streamer, but like I don't know if he's got something with his voice or not, but he it's always super deep, and it sounds like he's trying to seduce every person he talks to. But yeah, so all All right, so for my viewers, my partner in crime for the series, as you guys see, is Neo Zion Wu. He's been in the chat plenty of times, but today I'm going to give him the opportunity to explain a little bit about what he does and himself, so that way you guys can get to know him a little bit better. And then I will do the same for his chat afterwards. That's how this is going to work here. Go ahead, John.
All right. Well, I appreciate that little intro. Like I said, my gamer tag is Neo Sean Wu. Um, there's no real serious explanation for it. It was a main character from a mod for Half Life, so I just kind of took the name, and this was around the time where the Matrix was like, super big, and the mod was called the Opera. So it was based off of what are called Hong Kong battle operas, which are like John Woo style movies with dual guns and you know big action scenes, all gun ballet. I think they called it before. Um, and I really dug that, and I just took the name.
That's what's up. That's way more in depth than my name. So tell us about gaming a little bit about yourself. What do you do now, and what did you do back when we met?
Uh, Hell, back then I'm almost positive we crossed paths at least once or twice. Uh, Back then, because I mean you were more playing fighting games, and at that
Yep.
time I was like heavy into DDR and para dancing and games like that. But I did frequent Chesapeake Square and Norfolk Putt Putt and all that. Uh, I mean, I don't know. Me and you met probably what
I'm thinking
2000?
like
Like
two,
yeah, maybe
2001, 2002.
yeah. No, I
Had to
think you're
be.
right. It had to have been
Yeah.
yeah. Because I think I started working at the arcade at what like 2002 or 2003, I think. So
Yeah.
then I was there
So
on a regular basis. Um, but as far as now, I work for Coca Cola, um, doing delivery, and then I also do social media for the frame data app T7 Chicken. So I'd handle their Twitter and do the giveaways and things like that, and just try to keep up with stuff that's going on in the Tekkenverse, and retweet memes and just try to stay engaged with the community. And I like watching videos that people post for like combos and stuff like that. So if it interests me, I feel like since people follow me and follow T7 Chicken, they'll probably be interested in it too.
I got you, man. He's selling himself short a little bit there, chat. He does commentary for Tekken. He's run Tekken events. He's been volunteer staff at major events. This man does it all. He did Tekken professionally for a while. We've both kind of fell off on that.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when life hits you sometimes, especially when you get married and have children. Priorities change. That doesn't mean we hate the game or we hate the community. We just, things change. But he's obviously still way more involved than I am. And for his chat, I am Syberninja. You can follow me over here at twitch.tv/Syberninja with an S. Yeah. That name for me came back from the early 90s because I'm old. And it's not as in depth as Neo's. Literally, I was on the internet. I like ninjas, cyber for internet, and I wanted to be edgy, so I put an S instead of a C. So catchy. That's where I come from. So we met in, like I said, like I think it was like late 01, early
Yeah.
02. I mean, it could have been sooner. I saw some people in the chat saying it might have been sooner. It could have been. But I really think it was around that time because I was heavily into traveling in 01 for Street Fighter.
Right.
So I wasn't around much, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that we didn't talk before that, but we didn't actually start hanging out till late 01, 02.
Yeah. Yeah.
But chat, this is called Coin Op Conversation because what we're going to do is talk about various video game topics, but Coin Op being the premier topic, what we're going to do every week is try to take some time out to tell you guys about the era in which we come from, which is since long dead, unfortunately. I think in Japan, they said one of the biggest arcades is it's either closed now or was closing.
Yeah, I think it was what was it? Sagamo, something
Yeah.
Sagamo. I think closed down, and then the Sega arcade just closed, and I think one of the SNK arcades closed too. So it's like you said, unfortunately, becoming a bygone era of video games.
And it really is unfortunate, not just for the fighting game community, because that's what I was born and bred in, but for other games as well. I remember games like Initial D being huge, being able to go out and take your card and customize your car, as well as, be well known to have records on that game and see it in another arcade. Even like Rush, what was it, 2040 or what, 20,
Yeah,
what was it,
2049, I think.
So a lot of those games were huge, and now in the console era, it's those games are still not like Initial D is not big, but what I mean is games like that still exist. They're still big, but it's just it feels different. Like it's weird. It's hard to explain, and I guess that's what one of the topics that we want to talk about is just how different things were then versus what they are now. I know that in the fighting game community, Alex Valle had, I don't know if he started it or just got involved in the conversation between old fighting game players versus new. I don't really want to get into that debate,
No,
just because
that's a dead horse. Like they've hammered that into the ground.
It's insane, and I've seen other people's perspective, and I have my perspective and what I think. And at the end of the day, it's just opinion. There is literally no facts
Not at all.
that can say to sway one way or the other. But it did build up, in my opinion, an interesting topic, which is how things are different. Now, for me, I don't play a lot of the fighting game community games on console anymore, mainly because it's just not me. And we can get into why that is. But John over here did keep up with that community. Like I said, he's run plenty of tournaments, helped run tournaments for the console era, as well as a staff member. And like he said, he helps run the T7 Chicken app, which does frame data for Tekken. So like I said, he was selling himself short. The dude does some work. So not saying which one is better, because I think that is in the matter of opinion. That is, you can't sway somebody's opinion. It is what it is.
It's entirely subjective.
But in your opinion, which one do you prefer? Did you prefer the arcade era, or do you prefer the console era?
Oh, the arcade era without question. I mean, that's where, in all honesty, that's where a majority of my friends that I've met over the years have come from, is arcade era. So, I mean, it's just it was just a different feel, and people. I feel like people were. I mean, we still did have some jerks and some assholes every once in a while, but it felt like they kept it in the game, and like we would play, we'd talk some trash, and then we'd go eat somewhere, or go to like IHOP or like Pizza Hut or something like that. So I mean, you don't really see that as much now. Yeah. Granted, you saw it with the major tournaments and stuff like that, but you don't really see that now with more console based stuff. Even when we were going to the majors, like it was more the old school players wanted to go out and get food after tournaments or after sessions and stuff like that, as opposed to like the newer, like I don't want to call them, youngins, but I mean, like the younger generation that, primarily started in like, the late 2000s and stuff and are playing games now. Just the feel is very different. Like there's not the same, there's not the same community, in my opinion.
100%. I mean, again, and that's when I stopped playing competitively, which I mean, I played Tekken 5 competitively with you guys, but realistically, I stopped playing competitive back in Marvel 2. When I stopped playing, it was when everything started transitioning to console. And one of the things that I noticed is that I don't want to say it's the camaraderie, because that's not the right term, because that makes it seem like the new generation's not. They are. It's just in a different way.
Right.
Their way of motivation, their way of wanting to do things is different. So for me, it I didn't have the opportunity if I was going up against someone in an arcade era. If I only had $5 and that $5 was gone, I can't play no more.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I can't play no more. I now have to watch that person play, or I have to be like, okay, I can't beat this person. I'm just going to sit here and watch till they either run out of money or leave, and then I'm going to play. Console
or play another game.
Or play another game. Console, you just keep playing. You just keep playing. You keep playing, and eventually, I feel like that. I don't know. It's going to be weird. I feel like that creates more of a easier way to be. I don't want to say toxic because that's not the right term either. To get on your nerves quicker because you can play so much more. So instead of, people are doing first to 20s, first to hundreds, you play that person.
It's an easier way to burn yourself out.
Yes, that is a better way to put it. You get burned out and you often lose sight of what you were supposed to be learning in the first place. And now you just hate the person you're playing against. And it's easy to cause more beef. And then people always want to put money on the line. Look, here's the thing for me. And we, over the course of this series, are going to talk about eras. So this is what I want from this perspective during this segment of the Coin Op conversation is we're going to pick a time in our life when we were doing arcade stuff, and we're just going to talk on it. And for me, like one of the things that I would like to do is talk about like how I got started into Street Fighter as a whole. And I can tell you guys that story for me, looking back on it, is just crazy. But at the same time, like it's not as simple as I've just played people online.
Right.
And it's so different to understand that. Like right now, it's 9:30 at night. I can literally load up Tekken 7 and start playing people. That's, to me, I understand that to people watching this now or watching this later.
Like, oh, what?
Yeah, they're like, what are we talking about? Like, right now, if I wanted to go out and play someone in Street Fighter or Tekken at an arcade, I can't. Even if they existed, they'd be closed right now, other than Putt-Putt.
Yeah. Because Putt-Putt, we were there till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
But one of the things that's important to note is for me, there was no better feeling than when I beat someone. I didn't want their money. It's so weird. I didn't money match people because it costs money to play me anyway. To me,
Facts.
My lessons weren't free. So if you put that money in to play me, you just spent your money, right? So for me, I didn't want your $5. I wanted the changer to take your $5. If you lost to me and you have to take that walk of shame to the change machine,
that long walk.
And they don't want to take the time to go get. So this is when right? I can't express this feeling. If they didn't go put $1 in, right? If they were so sure they could beat you, they'd just put in $1 and get 4 quarters, right? And if the game costs 50 cents to play, they get 2 chances. But when you hear that $5 worth of tokens or quarters come out of the machine, you knew they were coming back and they weren't going nowhere for a hot minute, right? You just made them spend that money on you.
Yep.
Not the game, on you, because they want to beat you. And to me, there's no better feeling than on console, you beat someone, they just press the start button again.
Yeah. Or they just rage quit and just play somebody else.
Just rage quit. Or they'll unplug it if you're playing on the Ethernet. So, it's just a different feeling, man. It's so weird. And it's not just fighting games. I mean, it was that way with, pinball and even like you were playing DDR for a while.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's just a different era of people, and I preferred that era. But ultimately, I'm not saying it's better. It was just better for me.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. The rage quit back in the day was like somebody smacking the machine and still having to walk to that changer and come back.
They're still going.
Yeah.
And then when the changer doesn't take their $1.
Oh my gosh. Or they get so mad that like they don't put the $1 in right, so it's like you see the $1 keep going pinning.
That's what I'm saying, right? It comes out right. All I have is this, guys. I don't have anything, but they'll have like the change machine, right? And if you guys don't know what a change machine, oh my gosh. So a change machine, it's a change machine. Some arcades didn't have quarters, and
what's changed, Grandpa?
Because like even now, if you go to an arcade, it uses a card, right? But back in the day, you had to put in quarters. So but what they would do is if they put the dollar in the change machine, it would take. Do I really have to explain this?
Yes.
So it would give you quarters back, right? And then you would take those quarters or tokens and go play your game. But those machines were so finicky in terms of if they were dirty or your dollar was dirty. It's not like the technology for scanning stuff is like it is today.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have to take the dollar, right, and go on the corner of the change machine and just like rub it on the change machine to try and get it straight, right? And it would be the greatest feeling if the machine, you'd be standing at the machine, right, and you're playing and you look over in the corner of your eye and you just see them like rustling with it, right, and they put it in and the dollar comes back out and they just like snatch it. It's the great. You don't get that on console. All you get now is people throwing controllers, right?
Or dude, when they had to break a 20. They did when they oh my gosh.
And they just got to stand there and watch. I'm telling you guys, it was different. It was different.
The salt was so good.
It was real. It was real. And I enjoyed it. Like, I never wanted to make someone mad at me, right? I genuinely didn't get excited when they got angry. I honestly wanted to just let them win the next time they played. That happened a lot to Neo's dad. But Neo Phoenix in the chat, not Neo next to me.
Nah, not me.
Yeah. But you know, I didn't want to make anybody mad. If they got mad, generally I would actually let them win. And the reason why is because I wanted them to continue to play. Not because I wanted to beat them, but because I wanted them to get better. I never like to see someone get upset and frustrated at their gameplay and not know what's wrong. Usually I would try to make friends. And honestly, I've made so many friends off of the arcade era just from talking about the love of the game.
That's what I'm saying.
Just from talking about the game. I don't even know if I've met anyone at tournaments from the console era that I still talk to.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, sure, on social media, they're on my timeline.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't reach out to them. And there's nothing wrong with them. Just I'm closer with the people from the arcade era. So we actually had a bunch of topics that we were going to go over today, chat, and we're going to hit a couple of those now. But because of this hiccup with the green screen you see behind me, we ended up getting started a little bit later than we wanted to. So I do want to ask you, John, give me a specific. This is I'm putting you on the spot here because we didn't rehearse this.
Yeah, not at all. We're doing it live.
Give me a specific time in the arcade era that you genuinely remember, good or bad, that you feel like you couldn't get in the console era. I got stories. Chat. We're talking. I'm almost 40 years old. I got stories.
Yeah. I would honestly say probably the tournaments we had at Newport News Putt Putt.
Okay.
Back when,
I agree with those. Those were good.
I mean, those.
Days?
Yeah. The Tekken 5 when we were having monthlies with like hundreds, like literally 100 people piled into a mini golf place. Room.
Yeah. Those were absolutely insane times.
Yeah. And those are
like
probably,
you said before,
those were probably my favorite times of the arcade era.
And John hit that really on the head because there was like, I have a lot of things that we're going to cover in this series that I want to go over. A lot of that in which I haven't shared with anyone just because there was no reason to talk about it before. But there's a lot of things from that era of me growing up. I was really young in that time frame. And the people that I hung out with were much older than me. So the stuff that I experienced was from an older crowd. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it was just interesting to see how different it is from the players of today. And one of the arcade moments that I really remember is from Fun and Games, which is a place that we both worked at. And we used to run tournaments there pretty regularly. And it was also during the Tekken 5 era. There was a player, known Gen Master was the character's name. Not very well liked. There was a few that did follow him and defended him for the most part, but majority of the people did not like this man. And in a console tournament, you don't get this because you can't get this in a console tournament. But this person decided to show up to the tournament just before time of start. Decided he wanted to warm up after he was told we're getting ready to start the tournament. He thought he was above the rules, put his money in the machine. Shortly after, machine cuts off, cuts back on, tournament starting. And he thought he was going to get the preferential treatment of a top player. It didn't happen. He lost his money. And I just thought that was great because you don't get that now. Because now, if they want to finish a match, they're just going to finish the match. You know what I mean? If they're doing casuals, it's like, I get it. There's 400 setups, but it's like that's one thing. That's one example of a tournament difference that you can't get anywhere else, was the simple fact that if you wanted to be the type of person to either hold up a tournament, you can't if they're just going to cut it off on you and you lose your money. Right. So you had to pay for every round back then. Back then, some arcades, like if you didn't work at the arcade, you paid for every round you advanced. And every round, if it was 2 out of 3, you better hope you beat your opponent twice. Not, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, you're going to run out of money before you finish the tournament. So it was just one of those things.
Yeah.
Vegeta said, "Scum Lord."
Pay to play tournaments, man. Man, that brings back memories.
I could tell you about the Greenbrier tournament where I threw the money on the floor after I won.
Wasn't it? I thought it was tokens. I thought they. I mean,
it was tokens. Yeah. And I threw it on the floor. Yeah.
gave you a roll of tokens. This is just like, I don't want this.
It did. The next day after I told him his tournament was trash, and I'm not a toxic person, Chad, even though I'm going to tell you a lot of toxic stories like the time I left somebody in Jersey. Look, I'm just saying, look, I'm not toxic, right? It's just these things happen. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on here before, the Jersey story. But yeah, and the Greenbrier story. But the guy, I won the tournament, and he thought, he was slick and gave me tokens and a Namco's greatest hits for Dreamcast.
That's right.
I kept the game, but I threw his tokens right on the floor. Neo said, Phoenix says, I'm not toxic, chat.
Nah, not at all.
Not toxic.
Not at all. Not one bit. But you're not the type to, take somebody's drink and pour some salt and some other stuff into it.
Crap, man. Maybe I am toxic. No, I'm not toxic. I'm not. But yeah, during the arcade eras, one of the things that me and John used to do, and the people in the chat that have been with us as well, Omega and Vegeta, we would actually literally, and I can't stress this enough, we would just hang out at the arcade, whether we were working or not, from open to close, just chilling, literally with nothing but arcade noise in the background. Mm-hmm. And I can honestly tell you, I can't cut on a game unless I'm streaming for more than 30 minutes before I cut it off.
Right. It's
such a different feeling for me. And maybe it's just because I'm older, but I see it with my kids as well. I don't know if it's the attention span or just the fact that it's all there at the ready. You know what I mean? Like it's all just there.
It's one of the things I continue to say. It's instant gratification. That's really what has changed a lot of the things that we knew before. Is like, it's like you said, it's just there. It's as soon as you hit the button, you're ready to go. Like,
you're playing. I mean, I was playing earlier. I was playing Tekken 7 earlier with Gamer X. We were playing a couple rounds, and I was just like, all right, cool. I'll get up with you later. It's like, man, it's so different. We would sit there and we'd go to the mall, and this was like routinely. And here's the thing, right? I'm going to tell you these things, and you're going to be like, wow, that was your daily routine.
But like that's what you did on the weekend,
right? But that was everybody's weekend routine, right? And it was everywhere, back from when there was territories where locally you were the king of the cul-de-sac and you had to branch out to prove you were the king of that cul-de-sac and then the next cul-de-sac and then those people, like, there was no better feeling, right, than going to an arcade that you didn't frequent and then seeing someone else from a different arcade coming in, and you knew that you were in for a good time, even though you didn't talk to this person. You've just seen them from other arcades. It's just such a weird thing, man. And then when you make friends with those people, they start frequenting your arcade and hanging out with you. And that's one of the things that we would do. We would go there and we'd stay there all day. People would come and go. Then we would go eat lunch together. We'd all go out to, if it was in the mall or somewhere else. And then afterwards, we'd go get dinner. We'd go see a movie. And what I'm telling you is that's like 5-6 people from us. I'm just going to throw names towards the end of the era off the cuff. We had Gamer, Omega, Vegeta, James, John. Did I already say Milton? Milton. That's 6
Carlos,
people right there.
Carlos Amaris.
Carlos. And these people would stay all day, salty, not salty. We'd play the game. People would get upset. They would not want to play anymore, but they would still hang out and talk with us and then eventually start playing again. And the console era, I don't see any of that. And again, that's not saying the console era is bad. It's just different. And to me, I just prefer the in-person conversations and interactions after the fact that you can't get on the internet. I'm thankful for it right now because of COVID and also because of the arcades being gone for the most part. But man, I miss it. I miss it.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I mean, like I said, it just, when you say FGC, you think fighting game community. And I mean, to me, the arcade era felt really legitimately more like a community than it does with the online era. And like I said, there's not anything really wrong with it, because I mean, a lot of people who play now, that's the only thing they've known. But it's just,
right.
It's just a different time, and for guys like us, I mean, that's what we grew up in. You know what I'm saying?
I hate being that person where I hate it.
It sucks.
I hate it.
It sucks
because I don't like being that person. Like Neo Phoenix in the chat said, Archon. Do you understand the generations of players I've hung around and been through? Archon is one of those people. Archon, Sandro, Chitin, those players.
Cy Clayton.
Cy Clayton, yeah. But those players like Archon, Sandro, Chitin, Ray, rest in peace. A lot of people that I used to hang around with, we're talking back in the early 90s, they transitioned who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And it started with a video game. And from their interactions with me, I learned from them. And not from people in high school, because that environment for me was super toxic.
Yeah.
And not from any of the people that I met, in my neighborhood. It was these 3 or 4 dudes that were like 18 years old hanging out with a 12-year-old, right? Like, it sounds so horrible, but it was like we just played video games and hung out for hours. And we found common ground in that. And because of that, they took me under their wing and showed me like how to treat people and like be a person.
Yeah.
And I took that information with me and transcend it to the people I've met since then. And like Vegeta, Neo Xianwu, and, Gamer X and stuff like that. Like, I've met so many people in my life that I'm thankful for. And it started with Street Fighter, guys.
Yeah.
Street Fighter. I'm not saying Street Fighter 2. I'm not being like, oh, I'm just saying Street Fighter as a genre.
Yeah.
I'm literally saying Street Fighter 1.
Yeah.
Arcade machine.
You're good. Paul.
I'm old. I'm old, guys.
Oh,
but the arcade era for me, the stories that I want to share with you guys, either next week or the week following that coming up, I'm going to pick a time, I'm going to pick a story, and I'm going to have time set aside for John and myself. The next one, he is going to be doing more of the hosting. It'll be more of his topics, but we're generally going to have this portion of it either at the beginning or the end, where we're always going to talk about the coin op era. And trust me, I'm not going to run out of stories. We could do this for 5-6 years.
Easy.
I'm not going to run out of stories.
Easy.
And the more I talk about it, the more it jogs my memory, and I love it. It honestly brings joy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And in a year where there's not a lot of joy going around, it just feels good to sit back and reminisce and talk about the people that I've played with. John was one of those players that wasn't like huge into fighting games when I met him. He was a big DDR player. Mm-hmm. And he transitioned over to, at the time it was Soul Calibur 2 and Tekken 4.
Yep.
And he was playing those games. I didn't play a lot of Tekken 4. And Soul Calibur 2, we kind of learned the game together. We kind of really just understood the game together. And we started to do the tournaments for it towards the end of its lifespan. But we learned the game together. But Tekken 5, when he went over to Tekken 5, I really came in and showed him a little bit about how to play the game and understand the game. This was before frames were a thing, guys. I'm not a frames guy. And
played
the
on
game
feel.
Everything was feel. Yeah. And I taught him a little bit about the game. He took the ball and ran with it, and I can't hold a candle to him now. So that's just awesome to be able to play with someone and watch them grow. Vegeta is another one who's in the chat. I watched him grow. I've seen so many players grow, and it's just it feels good. I wouldn't see that in console. It's so weird because you have training room, whereas we were the training room.
Well, on top of that, like it feels like more often now that people just kind of play for clout, and it's like, oh, I'll just say I beat this person, or this is my training partner, but then when they actually play, or they play on stream or whatever, it's like, oh, see, I beat him like 5-0 now, and it's like, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was just to be a better player. It wasn't to beat the person that you were playing.
That is absolute facts, man. Yeah, I couldn't have said that better myself. One thing we want to touch on, guys, and Roman, I see you with the Prime sub, sir. I appreciate it. He's on a 2-month streak, but 5 months altogether. You are insane, man. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about. I want to talk about 2 quick things. I don't remember what else we had planned, but you know what? It doesn't even matter.
I mean, I can look.
Tekken 7, Season 4 just launched. Now, I come from a big background of fighting games. Tekken 6, I didn't play. Tekken Tag 2, I didn't play. Tekken 7, I didn't play. I can't remember if it was Gamer or you that gifted it to me, but one of you guys gifted it to me. And I played
Tekken 7? Yeah, I gifted it to you.
Yeah, so I played it with Vegeta and Gamer a few times. They actually came over here and played a couple games with me, and I really enjoyed the game, but I understood nothing about it, and a lot's changed. Is Tekken is an old man's game at the core.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I drink this coffee, guys. I keep burping. But also, there's a lot of new stuff, a lot of new matchups, a lot of new moves. And I didn't play anymore after getting trashed. But the new season came out, and I bought the new season pass, which is I think it's the only season pass I've purchased with this game. And I actually really like the new character, which if you play Tekken 7, it's Kunimitsu. And they've done a lot of changes in the game. But I'm hearing a lot of complaints that it's not very good. And I'm enjoying it from a casual standpoint. I played with Gamer earlier, and I absolutely had a blast. Now, keep in mind, he was taking it easy on me. He wasn't playing his main character, and I could see where when he landed a hit, if he was playing either at his hardest or if it was a professional level player, I can see where I would have gotten trashed. So I still had fun. I enjoyed it. We were sitting in Discord and it felt like old times, which is what we were talking about before. It didn't have the same feel as the arcade, but we were able to sit back and chill. My question to you, I know you said you hadn't booted it up, but what are you hearing about Season 4? And do you think that it is the nail in the coffin for Tekken 7?
I mean, I've been hearing it's been mixed. I think a lot of people are still trying to figure it out, just given its newness. But I mean, there are a lot of complaints about things, and I've always felt like with new stuff like this is give it some time. Maybe the developers felt like something should change in the way that they saw a character play, and they're like, well, maybe they should do this move and play it this way. And I think a lot of people are running into the issue of, well, it's not the way I want to play. And I get that, and it comes down to either adapt or play something else. I mean, that's really how I feel.
So I'm not going to, people have their opinions, and I don't want to make them.
Yeah. I mean, this is completely in my opinion. Like, I'm not trying to call anybody out. This is how I feel about it.
And that's why I'm saying like how you feel about it. But what I want to say, right? The players that are complaining, the pro players, right? We're going to be honest. A lot of us are pro players. People say, what makes you a professional? Anytime you make money in your said profession or in your said field makes you a professional. That is the basic definition of professional. Yeah. right? That is the definition. If you work for Coke, for instance, or if I work for, Charter, Spectrum, Cox, or any other cable company, it doesn't matter your wage. If you're paid to be there, the job that you're paid to do, you're a professional, right? So if you enter tournaments and if you've made money off of the game, even if it's money matches, let's be honest, if you're able to take money off someone, you're making money, you're a professional. That's fine. I made an entire year's salary. And what I mean by salary was enough to sustain my life, to travel and compete in video games in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I didn't have a job. I quit my job and traveled the country playing this game, and I made enough money to continue to do so. Therefore, I was a professional. I was literally Ryu traveling the world looking for my next fight. But there was no sponsorships back then.
Yeah.
So it's not like I could say I was a sponsored player, but I also don't have enough money to where I'm still doing it to this day. But at that point in time, professional. But what I want to say real quick is to the Tekken community. The professional players are a speck of sand on a beach. Speck of sand. Right? You see the big streamers, you see the professional players, and then you see the Tekken World Tour. Right? So they obviously know that you guys, us, are important to the game's longevity. But the reality of it is they're catering to an audience that plays the game casually.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, it's casual. Now, the professional players, they give their opinions, they give their thoughts, and they know what they want and what they feel would make the game better. And most of the time, they're not wrong. Most of the time, at the core, the professional players are giving you a genuine idea of saying, hey, XYZ is broken. Fix it.
Yep.
Right? But they are also taking, you got to think, if there's 30 players, we're going to say 30 players. You know what? 100 professional players are out there and they're going to say, fix this. It doesn't work in tournaments. It's broken. It makes the game unplayable. Right? We're going to take a character that can kill you in one good combo, Kuma, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll take that, right? At the casual level, that never happens. That setup never happens.
True.
That frame data doesn't matter. The execution doesn't matter, right? They're going to look at what the casual players want. Is that fair? No. But you know what? If there's 1,000 professional players, they don't want to sell 1,000 copies. They want to sell 100,000 copies. There's not 100,000 professional players. That's what they're catering to. Okay. So I get it. Now, in my era,
Wait a minute. You mean our? Come on, dog. I was there too. I was there too.
Our era. If the game was broke, you better learn how to play that broke game,
or play something else.
because you ain't getting a balance update. You ain't getting it.
Nope.
If your character sucks, you better pick another one. I'm gonna tell you guys flat out. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 again. I'm gonna use that reference a lot during this coin op conversation, but we're talking about Tekken 7 Season 4. Briefly, because we're wondering if this is the nail in the coffin for the game. I hated Cable in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I thought he was the bane of all existence. I thought this character was cheap. I thought you playing him took no skill, and anybody that played him was just a cheap cheeser, right?
You don't like guns, do you?
Cheesy.
You don't like guns.
No, it was, yeah. No, it was like legit, right? During that time, I played Spider-Man, Omega Red, and Captain Commando.
Ugh.
Okay. If you played this game, they're not good, but I was good, right?
The only good character you had was your anchor.
He's my assistant. He's horrible. He's Captain's. Yeah. So, right. So for me, right, I wanted to compete. I wanted to get better. I wanted to do more. I had to learn how to get around this character. Well, with those characters, I couldn't. Does that mean I hate Spider-Man or Omega Red? No, it just means they're not good in that version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up Cable, learned how to play him. The rest is history. I end up liking the character. I hated Storm, learned how to play her. I end up liking that character. I get you want to play your character, and I get, like, for me, I don't want to play Waring because he doesn't play like Bake. Bake's not in the game.
I get that.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I understand if your character has been buffed or nerfed and it's upsetting, but I want to explain something. Tekken 3, broken. Tekken Tag, broken. Tekken 4, broken. At the professional level, all three of those games might as well be unplayable.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you played certain characters. Tekken 5, 5-0, Nina.
Gosh.
Broken.
Steve.
Steve. Broken. Had infinites.
Yep. Fang.
Right? Broken.
Yep.
So there's not an iteration of Tekken, not one, that's balanced. So if Tekken 7 Season 4 is your nail in the coffin, it's not going to be fixed in Tekken 8.
Nope.
I promise you that.
Dude, that's what I've been saying since the seasons have been coming out.
It's not going to be fixed.
That's what I've been saying.
I don't agree with seasons. I don't agree with them.
No.
But again, I come from an era where it didn't exist. I don't agree with seasons. But if your character is unplayable and the game is not playable, if you're not having fun playing the game, a new season's not going to fix it.
Facts.
It's not going to fix it. If you want to be professional at the game, I don't. Not anymore. I know I'm not good enough. That realization hit me a long time ago.
Yeah.
Playing against Gamer and John and Vegeta, they showed me Cyber, you an old man. Look, now here's the thing. I do want to say this. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you continue to play, your reactions do get a little bit slower, but you can still compete. 100%. There are people older than me, or like I think Alex is older than me. Still competitive, 100%. Oh, yeah. But for me, I don't have the effort and time to put into it, and that doesn't mean if I had the effort, I could beat the people that beat me. I would just be able to compete, is what I'm saying. At the moment, I can't compete. At the moment, I am not even a blip on the radar. No. So my opinion is very skewed in terms of I'm talking from a casual.
Yeah.
At the professional level, again, I understand the arguments. But you're literally making money off of a game that someone else made, right? Like, you're literally making money off of their product, and you want to tell them how to make it. Like, you're playing their product. Like, you spent money to play their product, well, and you want to tell them how to fix it.
I mean, when you think about it, that's kind of, people are like, well, I paid for this, so it should be my way. And I mean, a lot of times it just doesn't work that way. Now, Mike in my chat brought up a good point where DR was pretty balanced, and I agree with that. I think DR was probably one of the most balanced Tekkens like ever made, and it's still one of my favorite Tekkens.
Tekken Dark Resurrection, I think, is the best Tekken they've made.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that statement. However, Devil Jin was still busted in DR.
I'm not gonna argue with that.
Devil Jin was still busted in DR.
I had a pocket Devil Jin, so I can't argue with that.
It was busted, and there were still some characters that were virtually unplayable in DR. So it was balanced in terms of there wasn't a tournament where you only saw Devil Jin versus Devil Jin,
right?
Where you'd see Bob versus Bob or whatever you see now, Falcon Rom versus Falcon Rom or whatever.
Yeah,
like I get that. There was no Leroy in Tekken Dark Resurrection. No. I understand that.
Yeah,
100%.
No one really, besides like Devil Jin, no one really stood out so heavily that it was like, damn, I don't want to play this game unless I play this character, or like this character just like there was no. Honestly, I can't think of anyone doing a character ban for DR.
No, and that's why I would say, that's why that one wasn't mentioned when I was.
Yeah.
Dark Resurrection was good, but see, here's the thing, right? They tried 3 times to get that game right. You had 5.0, and then you had 5.1, which was unplayable.
Well, see, 5.1 was actually a reaction to the game coming out on console so fast. Because the game came out on console in like almost like less than 6 months. So and that
and then it was on PSP like right after that, right? Or was it on PSP first?
No,
was it on PSP first?
PSP had DR, but
DR first.
Yeah, but 5.0 was in the arcades, and I want to say like February of it was like February of 04, and then was on console like. Oh, wait, no. It came out in November of 04, and then was on console in February of 05.
Yeah, so that's crazy. And that was the start of.
Well, you got to think like that was back when arcades were a big thing, especially in Japan. Like that was a heavy part of like the entertainment economy. So you just screwed over a bunch of people with a brand new game that had like $6,000 to $7,000 cabinets with all this new technology, cards.
And you could put the controllers in.
Controller slots, all of this, and then you're like, oh, here it is on console. Nobody needs to go to the arcades anymore because you can play it at home. And
that was actually true. We actually saw a big dip in players coming up to play us, and that was because at the time we were a lot better than them. And even though we had them coming in to play with us, they didn't want to spend their money once they got it at home because they just wanted to play their character and they just wanted to learn the story. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what happens with Lei Wulong because in the arcade you didn't see. So the console, you get it, and it's like, oh, what happens with my character? Yep. I wonder if my ending is going to work for the next game. But DR was one of the more balanced games. 5-1, in my opinion, was unplayable. But as far as Tekken 7 Season 4, that's a lot of numbers that my old self is going to just continue to mess up.
Just say Tekken 7.
I don't think it's
current version of Tekken 7.
I don't think it's dead. I think that if the game is not fun to you in Season 3 and you were hoping Season 4 was going to help you, it's not. Tekken 8's not going to help you. The problem is, here's the problem, right? The game gets to a point where the average player is virtually a competitive player. It happens with every game. If you play Street Fighter Alpha 2 online right now, or you go play Third Strike online right now, you're going to run into killers. And you're going to be like, man, you know, Oro is the best character in the game. They should change XYZ. It's like, because everyone in that game is going to be knowledgeable. They're going to be, they're going to be able to play. There's so much stuff in Tekken that's available to you now that the average player, I don't want to say the average player, just the game's lifespan has gone on so long that players have gotten better. You know, I play Fortnite all the time. I know, chat. I play Fortnite a lot.
Good old fork knife.
Yeah, and that one, the average player will build a hotel immediately, whereas 6-7 seasons ago, they would just hide behind a tree. So if you're not getting better at Tekken or you're losing to a specific character, chances are it's not the game. I get the busted characters like Leroy and Fakumram and Akuma, Geese, but that's at the top level. You don't see, like, again, okay. If you're watching a stream of it, it looks bad. It does, because chances are that's what's going to be in the top 8.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people that play that character. And in Tekken, a lot can go wrong really fast.
It's a very momentum based game.
Very momentum based. Once you get pushed into a corner, which it is what it is. Certain characters, I understand.
Sometimes when you gotta guess, you guess wrong and things just
But here's what I want to say, and then we'll move on to the next topic, and then we'll call it a night as far as this session of Coin Op conversation. And next time it's gonna be all this guy over here doing the hosting, but. I kind of lost train of thought. It's going to come back. Here it goes.
Yeah.
In a tournament setting, you have 2 out of 3. Okay. Right? 2 out of 3 in a set. If during that set, somebody has you in a situation where it's 2-2 and they beat you with Akuma because he had meter and did a combo that did 90% of your health, and you're like, man, if I just didn't get hit by that one jab that cost me my entire life. I understand that argument. I do. But you didn't finish him the other 2 rounds. So that one time, that sucks. But you had 2 other rounds that you let slip away. I doubt they killed you with that every round. Maybe they did.
Maybe set play does come out of nowhere. So
it does, and there are a lot of characters that way. I just think that if that's what's bugging you about the game, I don't think that's like. I think if they took that out of the game, it's not going to make it any better for you. Yeah. If you're not enjoying it by now, you're not going to enjoy it if there was a new season. I don't know the buffs of Season 4, guys. I'm just talking based on the fact that I can tell you if they balanced Marvel 2. Back when I played it, if they made their Hyper Viper Beam punishable like they did on the PlayStation, there's a reason why people didn't play the PlayStation 2 version. There's a reason. It's because it sucked. So I understand the argument of saying, well, what you're saying here is it's not fun. You're not going to play. No, I just meant I wouldn't have played it.
Right. Would have
So
played
at this
something
point,
else.
right, at this point, if the game is dead for you, don't play it. There's no point in complaining about it. They're not going to fix it. They're catering to casuals, and it's going to continue to be that way. That's what seasons are for, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons aren't for longevity of the game. It's not for you. It's for the casual.
It's to bring more people in. It's to make more money after they've sold the initial copies because they don't make any more money off the initial copies.
Yeah, it's for the casuals. A New Balance update, guys. Hello, they gave it to they gave the new season to content creators, not pro players.
Yeah.
If that's not a wake up call.
Yeah.
I understand Harada said it wasn't his decision, but it was NATO's, right? It was the EU market share, right?
Mm-hmm. The guys above him. I mean, when the when the head developer of the game wouldn't have done something like that, and marketing's like, hey, give this to people who like just get on Twitch.
They have numbers.
Yeah. You know.
Look, I was one of those people. I briefly look at myself. You know, just because I look at myself. I briefly looked at myself and I see the green screen. Guys, I promise you, this looks horrible. It's fine. It's fine.
Look, I mean, look at all the stuff that
Yeah, but that looks like you have personality. This looks like I don't know how to work a green screen. Okay, I do. When the stream continues and we're doing Phasmophobia, it's going to look better. I promise. Just bear with me. Anyhow, guys, I'm not picking on you guys. I'm not. I just, on my timeline, right? I follow a lot of people that play Tekken, even though I'm out of the loop. All I hear is complaining. And I bought this season. I'm the casual. I bought this season pass. And I picked it up and I was having a blast. And then I go to my timeline and I'm like, wow, should I hate this game? Should I not play this? Like, I'm enjoying it.
It's like, should I just go ahead and uninstall now?
Yeah, I'm like, did I just waste my money? Like, I was having fun playing with my friends. Like, because that's what they wanted. Yeah. The Tekken Pro Tour it's a speck of sand, guys.
Damn, maybe I am casual too, because I haven't, like I said, I haven't booted the game up at all.
I've played more of Tekken 7 Season 4 than you. Chat.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, okay.
Don't clip that.
We'll move on. We'll move on. I'm not. If I hurt your feelings, guys, I'm sorry. You can hurt mine by calling me a casual. Tell me I'm an idiot. It's fine. I can take it. But one of the other things I want to talk about, and then we'll call it a night, and then I'm going to move on to Phasmophobia if you guys want to watch it.
And I'm just going to call it a night and probably just lurk. So
I wanted to talk about the PlayStation 5 launch. Now, for me, being the casual that I am, was unable to obtain one. Mainly because I didn't have the money. But if I did, I still have. However, I'm hearing a lot of the consoles are bricking themselves on the SSD. Now, is this factual information or is this hearsay? Because I see a lot of it and people are trying to debunk it. I haven't had time to really look it up.
Yeah, I haven't had any real time to research it, but I mean, that's what they're saying happened to a YouTuber who tried to use a external hard drive on the PS5, on a launch PS5, that it bricked it and apparently it wasn't supported.
Yeah, now I know that they said that they were going to do it not at launch, but they were going to allow for it later. So I don't want to say that's kind of that person's fault, but
it just seems weird to me that you would not have functionality for it at launch when if you have USB ports on a console or something like that, obviously somebody's going to use them for something. So it's like, why would you not provision for something like that and ahead of time and be like, yeah, by the way, you can't use this or it'll ruin your console that you just bought.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Does it say it in the owner's manual? Anybody that's got a PS5, does it say in there, don't use external hard drives just yet? Like, does it say that? Because if it does,
I mean, yeah,
read the manual.
True.
But if it doesn't, chat's saying it's only a couple cases. J Farm, what's up? J Farm says it's only 2 to 3 cases, and Vegeta says it's a specific game and or using an HDD. And I would say, yeah, Vegeta's got one in the chat, Neo. Why don't you just shut your mouth?
Yeah. Quiet.
Bro, ain't nobody
Shut
reading
up.
PS5 manuals.
I know, right? That's facts.
That's what I'm saying, right? But I did see a couple videos where people were showing the HDMI port not working. Now, in my field of work, that's probably not the PlayStation. Probably not.
It's probably not.
Probably something on user error.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of those two purposely put it on the wrong input just to be like, see, my PlayStation doesn't work.
Well, not just that. I know they were recommending, what was it, HDMI 2.1 for the PS5 because of the 4K capabilities and everything too.
Yeah, and actually, when you first put on the PlayStation 4, when you put it on a different TV, if it had like default settings on there, it wouldn't do anything, right? You actually had to restart it in safe mode for it to recognize.
Yeah, hold the button down and all that. Mm-hmm.
To recognize a new resolution. So, but yeah, I know that ain't nobody reading the manuals. It was more like a troll.
If you really think about it, though, if it doesn't say anything in the manual and there's been multiple instances of it, they could have a class action.
They could. My thing is this, like, a lot of people say they don't buy the first iteration of consoles because they always have bugs. And my thing is this, I had the first generation PlayStation but it wasn't at launch, but it was a first generation PlayStation. Mm-hmm. I just got it off of a friend.
Right.
But I had every console I have ever owned, which is every commercial console there was. Like, I didn't have a 3DO or Philips CDI.
I had a 3DO.
Oh, I'm actually jealous. I wanted one. I just didn't get one.
Dude, that thing was so expensive back then too, because that was like,
bro,
that was like thing, right? That was like $400 in like 90s money. So
here's why I wanted a 3DO. Okay, and I wanted a 3DO because Super Nintendo didn't have an infomercial. Sega Genesis didn't have an infomercial.
True.
Philips CDI and the 3DO had infomercials. It was 30 minutes of these action-packed games like tennis, right?
Yep.
Like tennis that I watched at 3 a.m. like every time it came on, and they had their little paddles, and I'm like, I wanted to play tennis.
Dude,
anyway.
Speaking of old consoles, for the longest time I wanted a Neo Geo.
Yeah, I wanted a Neo Geo too,
but the price of those things, like, so it was bad. Dude, $600 for a console, $150 per cartridge in the 90s. Like, if you look at inflation, like, that's well over a couple $1,000s for a console.
It's facts, man.
And like $500 a game.
Yeah, it was insane. And so, but yeah, I ever owned the first generation of like every like console that would have had issues, like CD-based consoles.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue with the first generation console. I had issues with Xbox. I think I went through like 6 Xboxes, the 360 era. I went through 2 of the regular 360s and 2 Elites.
How many?
The Dreamcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many Dreamcasts did you go through?
Probably like 20 Dreamcasts. That's not even an exaggeration. I probably went through 20 Dreamcasts, but that wasn't the Dreamcast's fault.
True.
It was.
True.
It was the joysticks we used blowing the ports. The MOS sticks were custom sticks, and so it is what it is. But the console themselves, I didn't have any issues with. So when people say that, I understand, but at the same time, I'm like, that's probably just because you couldn't get your hands on one. Mm-hmm. I get it. I couldn't. I couldn't. I would have liked to have.
I mean, to be fair, I made the attempt, but in all honesty, I was just gonna flip it anyway because I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. But yo, hey, I wasn't gonna be one of those guys who bought like five or six of them and then try to flip all of them.
Chat.
But I'm just saying.
This guy was gonna scalp.
Hey man, I mean, I just bought a V.
It's like, remember the arcade eras back then? We were honest people. I was gonna sell that PlayStation 5 though.
Dude, honest. There was no honesty in arcade.
I have an original Dragon Ball GT Final Bout Vegeta on PS1. I have it.
Do you have the case?
Just throwing that out there. I have the case, but it's the American version. Apparently, the American version isn't as expensive as the Japanese version. But in the chat, he was saying that it was like $130. Yeah, the Japanese version was super expensive. But I have the American one, and it's trash compared to the Japanese one.
Yeah.
Anyway, the PlayStation 5 launch to me, I think, is an absolute disaster. Here's my thing: PlayStation, Xbox, and the RTX series cards. Is the AMD cards out yet?
They were announced, but they haven't been released yet.
Okay, because I was gonna say I haven't heard them having a debacle, so I was gonna be like, congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
You have projections of how much your consoles have sold at launch. Every time you've launched a console, every time you've launched a video card, the fact that you didn't have enough to sell for millions of copies when you know it's going to sell, that. How do you not have them already done? Right?
Because it's planned.
Oh, we're going to have more. Yeah, exactly. It's planned, and it's absolutely atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
Me as a person, if I was as hardcore as I was in the past, I'd have had a PlayStation 5, and there would have been nothing to stop me.
Right. Yeah.
But for me, right, in terms of having kids, if my kid was like, I want a PlayStation 5 for Christmas.
Like, all right, well, guess I got to get a PlayStation.
Do it. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
you're about to.
I'll be there midnight.
You're about to. Yeah.
I'll be there at midnight.
Strap up the black Air Force Ones.
That's what I'm saying. Vegeta says, let's see. I got the American and Japanese version. I missed that game. So that's a conversation we'll have after this.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved Final Bout. I thought it was a great game, even though I leveled up my character and Archon leveled up his character so much that we literally fought each other for 3 hours and didn't take off a life bar. That game was busted.
Sound about right.
Yeah.
My Super Saiyan 4 Goku would just kill people in one hit.
See, I had Vegito and Vegeta. My Vegeta was higher than my Vegito, but I had the thing is like I don't know. I thought that the game was so bad. I don't even. We're not talking about GT. We're not doing it.
We'll save that for another time.
We're not doing that.
No,
but overall, the PlayStation 5, in my opinion, is an absolute failure. For the record, I think the Xbox is a failure as well, but I specifically wanted to talk about the PlayStation one because of the hard drive issue, and I didn't know if that is something. I was reading on like Dexerto and Polygon and Kotaku and all the. I couldn't find any credible sources that things were awry, but the fact that there's just not a lot. Like 90% of the people that I know on my timeline, and I don't know 90% of the people on my timeline. On Twitter, it's mostly followers that follow me from here. I don't know them on a personal level, but the majority of them got theirs sent to them by Sony.
Right.
And I'm like, it's cool. I get to watch them unbox this console, but I get unboxing videos. I get them. They're cool. They're fun to watch. But when if I see somebody unbox a new webcam before it comes out, that's cool. Sure. But guess what I can do? I can go buy that webcam. But when you send versions of your console to every single influencer and content creator in the world, right? Like literally, like it's not even like big creators. They're like, look what it is, a hashtag ad.
Yeah.
Look what Sony sent me. Oh, I got the Xbox too. Thanks, guys. Right? And I'm like, so you could have had more at launch to sell, but instead you wanted to send it out to everyone saying, buy this product that you can't get. Check is that. Buy my product that you can't get unless you go to eBay and buy it for double the price.
Mm-hmm.
Failure.
And they're not making any attempt to stop these scalpers.
It is absolutely unacceptable in this day and age to have this type of problem. When Nintendo had the Switch problem, when it came out and people couldn't get the Switch, like Sony and Microsoft were probably sitting back like, oh, wait. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like
that was a disaster.
It's like, oh, you want stock? You want stocks to go up?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
So this is how you do it. You just you send out 50 copies to creators and only sell 25. But don't worry, there'll be more.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see? I think it was today. Either Best Buy or GameStop said they're going to have more for Black Friday, right? But they came out and said they're going to have 1 to 2 at each store. to call first. To see if there's an availability. Here I can see that conversation. Hey, GameStop, you got that PlayStation 5?
Yep, got
right,
one left.
I'm gonna need you to hold that.
Sorry, we can't do that. We can't hold it.
What do you mean you can't hold it? They told me to call first.
Yeah, well, I understand that, sir, but we only have 2 left. So it's first come, first serve. Sorry, thank you. You could pre-order Ratchet and Clank.
You can get a controller on hold if you want. We'll hold Spider-Man for you. All right, I'm on the way. And then you drive there and it's gone. It's ridiculous. And here's the thing. I know how it works, guys. I have friends in the industry, and I'm not like a big content creator. I'm just saying I have friends in the industry. I can literally call up and be like, hey, yo, can you put that PlayStation in the back for me? Appreciate it. Cool. 2 consoles are gone before they ever even hit the store floor. Mm-hmm. 2 consoles? Come on, man. That's just ridiculous. I don't know. It is what it is. Let's see. J Farm says the Switch was also because of manufacturing issues and lack of access to the GPUs because of competing manufacturers. That's just jargon, J Farm. Mm-hmm. But they also refuse pushback to release.
J Farm must work for Nintendo. He's a spy, an end spy.
But yeah, so he is. J Farm works for Nintendo. But overall, guys, I'm gonna go play some Phasmophobia. We've already been up here longer than was the scheduled time, and I'm okay with that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. John, I greatly appreciate it. I want to do this more. I want to have more conversations about the coin-op era, but as well as other topics like movies, shows, whatever we got going on, just to be able to chat with the audience, because not everybody in the audience has the arcade to talk about.
Yeah.
But you guys can actually hear our stories and then give us your thoughts on the console era if you're part of the fighting game community, which is what we're going to mostly focus on in the coin-op conversations. Again, we played other games. He was a professional at DDR. I worked at an arcade. But what I'm saying is like, we had other games that we played in, and we have other stories that you guys can share with us. But
easily,
definitely interact with us. So we appreciate you guys. To John's audience, do you have a what is it the Wooverse? What do you got, man? What? Is it the Wooians?
Nah, people just kind of show up. I don't have a name for my chat yet.
Have a name?
No.
Chat. We're the Cyberverse. Come on.
I mean, I don't know. They just kind of show up.
What is this?
They just gotta show up.
I almost fell off my chair. It's okay, guys. It's fine. You should have saw me putting this up in the background. I almost killed myself.
You're lucky I didn't
he could have clipped all of that. It didn't it didn't happen.
All kinds of OSHA violations.
Oh, we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
No. The woo. Your chat is it's the Wooians.
No. Sorry. I'll think of something, but that's definitely not. It's definitely not that. No, none of that. Sorry.
And you can come into chat and you can do the.
No, see, and every time you see, that's why you keep blowing your mic out because it's too much.
No, I'm blowing my mic out because it's the RTX filter. When my voice goes out of my range, it just blows my mic out. If I cut the filter off, it won't blow my mic out. I actually want to get rid of the filter, but the Elgato Wave 1, by the way, chat, great mic, has software built in to where I can actually go through and do an EQ.
Okay.
But it's not, and you can actually use it with the Stream Deck, which is awesome. But they don't have a EQ that is like the RTX filter where it filters out noise.
Right.
Because I have a fan going right now. You guys have no idea. So if I take that off, you're going to hear the fan and you're going to be like, hey.
Yeah.
So
it's like, what is this guy outside?
I go back and watch my chats. Like I'll go back and watch the clips of stuff that they've clipped for streams, and I blow my mic out all the time. And I'm like, I'm a professional.
Yeah.
We're good here.
Mm-hmm.
The Sagat Squad, J Farm says.
Sagat Squad.
See, everybody's like the woos. The chat likes that. The woos. It's the woos.
Nah.
Right? And then Vegeta says shameless shameless plug.
Gotta say like Saget.
Yeah.
Saget
J
squad.
Farm says, "Do you remember when the GPUs doubled in price?" Stop, man. Stop.
I told you. Worse for Nintendo.
Nintendo failed.
Mm-mm.
Nintendo failed. It was on them.
He's an in-spy.
Also, I believe, John, you're going to upload this to your YouTube, yeah?
Yes, sir.
So I don't know what channel he's uploading it to. Is it just going to be your channel, or do you have a separate channel?
No, my channel. So YouTube at Neo Shanwu.
Yep, the chat. I'm going to put that in the chat here so you guys can go there and sub to this man. Give him some love.
I'll probably tweet it out when I get it uploaded and everything. You can follow me at Twitter /Neo Shanwu. It's NEOXIANWU. You can also follow me on Instagram at John Quest with a QWEST. And you can follow me here on Twitch with Neo Shanwu _.
That's what we do here, chat. Give him some love. As far as me, guys, it's Syberninja with an S. It's literally on every platform. However, I'm mainly active here in Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm there, and I appreciate the love if you want to give it, but I'm just not that active over there yet. I mean, I will. Oh, look, here he goes. J Farm again. Mm-hmm. It was on them for not pushing back at launch, all those manufacturing issues, but it was ultimately, I'm not hearing you, man.
Nope.
I'm not hearing you. You can get on here and you can talk about it. You can blow out your mic.
Yeah.
But no, it was Nintendo.
Over here with your Nintendo spy stuff.
Nintendo spy stuff.
Mm-mm.
All right, guys. I'm out to the unnamed universe that is Neo's chat. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I'm sure my opinions are very strong and very out there. And if you guys disagree with me, I completely understand. And I would love to hear your comments on the matter. You can hit him up on his YouTube video and let you guys know how you feel about me. Yeah. Like Cyber's an idiot.
And the same thing with the Cyberverse. If you guys feel that what I said might be untrue or I might be a little too abrasive, and hit me up. Let me know.
I can tell me how much I'm a filthy casual. I am. Exactly. I am. But I'll tell you something. Yeah. Anyhow, hit me up on Twitter, on YouTube here. Follow me over here at twitch.tv/Syberninja. Roman hit me with the resub earlier. I have alerts off, so I apologize, chat, if I didn't see any of that. We're going to put them back on here as soon as we switch. John, I appreciate your time. Congratulations on getting the CTS-V, sir. I can't wait to hear it. And to the rest of the guys, you guys have a good night, and we're going to get started over here on Phasmo in about 10 minutes.
So go check this man out. Watch him play some Phasmo and get scared.
I appreciate the company. It is a scary game, and I'm pretty sure my wife's going to be playing with me, and she's only played once.
Oh,
so
boy, that should be good.
It is good. It's entertaining. It's all entertainment. So, all right, guys, y'all have a good one. Chat, stick with me as soon as we're done here. I'll see you later, John.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Stay defaulty.
All right, guys. Appreciate you sitting in and watching. We have to tell a little story and everything, and we'll do it again, maybe next week or the week after, just depending on how things flow. We'll have some more topics. And, of course, kind of go back into the arcade era since, like I said, it's my favorite era and kind of the genesis of how I got involved in fighting games and everything. So, once again, I appreciate you guys watching. Go check out Cyber. Follow him on Twitter at Syberninja. Twitch at Syberninja, and I think he's at Syberninja on Instagram as well. So appreciate you guys, and y'all take it easy.